sitting here on this chair. Yeah, this video is just gonna be like this, and we're accompanied by the racing bulls because they're currently in this good position, as you can see. Sorry, I keep forgetting how far down Alpine is. All right. Is there anything I love more than Formula 1? Yes, there certainly is. There's probably a bunch of things, but at the top of the list would probably be Marvel. Marvel? What? No, we don't like Marvel. That's crazy. I mean, who the fuck likes Marvel? Yes, I absolutely love Marvel. I'm a bit of a geek in that department. But, in this video, we will be discussing what Marvel character would support what Formula 1 driver or what Formula 1 team. So welcome to... No? X-Marvel? No. What? I don't have... Formula 1... Superheroes' favorite drivers. But they're not all superheroes. Yeah, okay, Marvel does not... They stopped having superheroes a while ago. Now it's just messed up, morally grey characters. Anti-heroes. Like Batman. They're just a bunch of Batman. But Batman is DC. Not happening. What do I call it then? I don't know. Marvel X Formula 1. I also want to make clear that any choice I've made in this video is purely based on my personal and my friend's opinion who has helped me write down each character. And I also want to say that I am very open to have respectful and friendly discussions with you guys about this in the comments, as long as we stay respectful. This is purely personal opinion, alright? Purely personal opinion. Okay, on to the first character. This is a character that I am deeply in love with. And it's the Scarlet Witch / Wanda Maximoff, right? So you may think, Red, she would surely support Ferrari. Wow, you're so based. I'm sorry. Maybe you have a valid reasoning to why she would support Ferrari, but I disagree. Because she would see Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri and think, wow, they remind me of my twins. And then she'd feel weirdly protective about them. It's just this energy of these two guys. They're like young, driven, and they are obviously different, but I also feel like that Billy and Tommy, they were of course twins, but there was also a difference, and I think you could also feel it in the show WandaVision. So I kind of thought this would fit for them, or for Wanda, you know, the Black Widow / Natasha Romanoff. I feel like Natasha would support Carlos Sainz. Now, why do I think she would support Carlos Sainz? Because I think she would appreciate how methodical and smart he is, and how he doesn't just drive the car, but he is very involved in other aspects as well. I also feel like she would be on a mission, I don't know, hold a guy over the edge, and just pull out her phone, or her phone maybe vibrates, and she's like, oh, Carlos Sainz is doing well in the Williams in FP1. Nice. And that guy would just be incredibly confused. That's just my personal opinion. Now we're coming to Loki. I think that Loki would support Fernando Alonso. Is it just because they're both always seen in green? Yeah, maybe. But I also think that Loki would like his personality and would also think he's a handsome guy, you know? And I feel like Loki would always brag about Fernando Alonso's glory days, you know. Again, I don't know where I pull out these personal opinions. They are just canon in my head. I wrote down Peter Parker. Who's Peter Parker?
Emotional, damn it!
Thor. Daniel Ricciardo. Yes. Big energy, funny, charming, would love his sense of humor, and just... I can't describe it, but somehow they remind me of each other. They have this vibe and this chaotic good energy, you know? I feel like in the first movie, Thor is very... he's not as funny and calm and, like, cool as he is in the other movies, The first movie is obviously very, very centered about the fact, not about the fact, but him trying to be a king, right? Trying to take over Odin's place. And he's very aggressive, and he wants war, and he wants to fight for his country, his planet, his... Yeah. And I feel like in the other movies, he's more like cool, relaxed, and chill, and funny, you know? Especially in the Avengers movie, even though the first one is actually pretty funny. Does mother know you wear her drapes? I'm so sorry. Now Deadpool. This is very interesting, you know? Oh, what the fuck? Alright, Deadpool. Now this is very interesting. I've thought about this. I've also talked to my friend about this. Now I think Deadpool would love Yuki for his chaotic, literally messy radio messages.
Thank you very, very much for that. That was a very strong drive. Well done.
Would love Isack Hadjar for his Kim Kardashian, just Kardashian audio videos on TikTok, just his energy. And he would love Bottas for his, also for his vibe, you know, and his calendar. He would have his calendar over his bed, and he would also go to the racetrack and get it signed from Bottas. Yes, I love this one. This one's perfect. Perfection. Now we go a bit back in time, and I would say that Hawkeye would support the Iceman, you know, Kimi Räikkönen. I don't know, it's just, maybe it's their vibe, their energy, the whole staying low-key and trying to not have like this image, you know, but just trying to do their job. This is an opinion actually my friend put me onto, so thank you very much. Oh, I totally forgot Captain America. Yes, Captain America, right? I was thinking, wait, did Captain America live when the first Formula 1 race was? No, that is factually not true, because he was already in the ice. So, I think while he was catching up after he came back, he might have dipped into Formula 1, because there was already, I mean, racing already existed. It could be that, I don't know, Cap watched the first Le Mans race, right? I'm just saying. So, he caught up, and he was like, Formula 1? Let me see. And Cap, the morally virtuous, I think is the right word, guy he is, I think he would really like Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton. It's just because they are so outspoken about things like human rights and environment and Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ rights. Yes, I don't know, I feel like that makes sense in my head. This one's also an opinion my friend put me on. I'm not sure how much I agree, but I find it actually pretty funny. So the Hulk would support the Hulk, which means Bruce Banner would support Nico Hülkenberg. I don't know why. I think it's actually pretty funny. I feel like Bruce would probably like him, also because of maybe he's a bit of a charming dad energy. Yeah, not a lot to say about this one, but it's cute, you know. Venom. Yes. Venom would like Kevin Magnussen. Terror on track. I don't know what it is, but I feel like Venom would just like this aggressiveness that Kevin Magnussen has displayed on the racetrack. I feel like Ant-Man would very obviously like Sebastian Vettel. I feel like they share the same energy, both also being girl dads, you know. That just makes sense to me. I do feel like Ant-Man would like a bunch of drivers, but Sebastian in specifically, like this guy is just always at his heart, maybe the one he relates the most to. Another opinion my friend actually has put me on is that Kate Bishop would be a fan of Papaya. Also the Papaya Boys. One, because she'd like Lando the Yapper, because I have realized while watching Hawkeye that Kate is quite the Yapper herself. And she'd maybe like Oscar, because he's bit more quiet, and she also worked with Clint Barton, who's also a bit more quiet, so she'd kind of feel like this duo, Oscar and Lando, would remind her of the time they worked together during the Hawkeye times. But Oscar has still a good heart, and I feel like that is very... In the end, Clint Barton invites her to her family gathering, you know, because she put her mom into prison. Yeah. I don't know what it is about that. I just feel like that makes sense. Yeah. I feel like that Yelena Belova would... Yelena Belova? I can't say... Am I saying this right? Yelena Belova. Whatever. That she would be a firm watcher. I don't know if that makes sense. A watcher of the Formula One Academy. For some reason, it makes total sense in my head that she would support Dorian Penn. I'm so sorry, Dorian. I'm so sorry. Dorian? I'm probably butchering your entire name, and I deeply apologize. Not like you'll ever see it, but I feel like that Yelena Belova would support Dorian, and also would, like, maybe even now after Thunderbolts, now that she maybe has some funds, she would support the Formula One Academy. I don't know what and why, but that just makes sense to me. And I feel like maybe she'd feel like this sense of, okay, this is very maybe controversial, but you know, she was in the Red Room and so were others, and I feel like that there is this sisterhood that that feeling of sisterhood that developed, especially after she freed all the other widows, you know, and she'd feel this sense of not need, but she wants to support women in male-dominated fields. So I'd feel like she'd be big on supporting Formula One Academy. Yes. I have no one for Gamora, but we do have Nebula. Yes, and Nebula. Actually, I like this one. I like this one a lot. Nebula would support Max Verstappen, George Russell, and Abby Pulling. I don't know why. She just would, alright? I feel like she would. No, this is a controversial take on this take. Nebula was kind of like tortured by her dad, Thanos, as we kind of know. It was we don't know if there was any direct violence involved as far as I'm aware, but we are aware that he's used her very much as a weapon while he gave a bunch of love to Gamora. And maybe Max and his maybe reminds her of that, and she'd feel very connected to him in that way. And Abby Pulling, just because she also supports the Formula One Academy, and she just loved Abby Pulling. Yeah, that makes sense in my head. George Russell, I don't know, she would just love that diva. So now we have Mantis and Drax, which actually really like this explanation. My friend also put me on this. So Mantis would like Lando Norris because of the emotions. Lando is a big advocate for men's mental health, in my opinion. And he also talks very open about it, and I feel like Mantis would really, really like that. And then there's Drax, and Drax would want to support Mantis in some certain way, but he'd feel like that Oscar is more his vibe, because Drax is very, very quiet, you know, but he's also sweet, you know. And I feel like that is his way of supporting Mantis, by supporting Lando's teammate, but he'd sometimes like be like a bit, oh no, papaya rules. I don't know why. I just think this is cute of them, super couple energy. Drax is such a sweetheart, I don't know what to tell you. Now to my probably also one of my favorite characters besides Wanda, Moon Knight. Well, Moon Knight isn't exactly who's Moon Knight, right? Is it Steve? Is it Mark? Is it that other guy whose name I actually just forgot? I don't know. Whatever. I think I also talked to my friend about who that other guy would support. Yeah. So, Mark would support, well, Mark Spector. That's his name, right? Yeah. Mark Spector would support Kimi Räikkönen and also Oscar Piastri, because they're also very performance driven and not like whole image and stuff like that. I feel like they come and they want to perform for the job, right? That's what they want to do. They want to drive. And then Steven Grant. I love this man to death. I would do anything for him. And I feel like that he would support Albon, but he would also support the entirety of the rookies. And I keep saying she, what's wrong with me today? And he'd feel really, really bad for anyone that was kicked, especially the rookies. Like, he'd support all the rookies, you know, sweet, young. He'd want to support the new ones. He'd feel bad for them if they get kicked, but he also feels really bad for anyone else that gets kicked. Like Daniel Ricciardo, Logan Sargent, Checo Perez, you know? And I feel like that this other guy who, I forgot his name. What was his name? Excuse me? He has 8? And I hold up 4 fingers. 8. We know that he has an identity disorder. Mark Spector, Steven Grant, Jake Lockley. Yeah, Jake Lockley. Alright, back to Jake Lockley. I feel like Jake Lockley would support Checo Perez or Fernando Alonso. There's just no reason to this. That just makes sense in my head. If you've not read any comments, let's just say based on the facts of what you've seen in Moon Knight, I'd say these, but I could probably get more into it and maybe my opinion would change, right? Maybe my opinion would change. If you read a bunch of comics and if you know more about Jake Lockley, I would love to hear your opinion in the comments. Nick Fury would support Lewis Hamilton for black representation, amazing fashion style, and also would be a very loyal Mercedes fan. I don't know why, that just makes sense in my head. That just makes pure sense in my head. I hope you like this very chaotic out-of-pocket video. Actually, if you want more content like this, let me know. I need to know. If there's any characters you want me to cover else, absolutely let me know. These are just the ones I had at the top of my head. I actually did look a bit of a list and made some mental notes about which one I already had in head. But if you'd like more of these videos, let me know. And if you've watched through this, thank you very much. I would be happy. I'd be very happy if you gave a thumbs up and leave a comment or follow anything. I'm grateful for anything. I'm also just happy you're watching this till the end, which is crazy. Thank you very much. Hey Hadjar, what do you think about the fact that Deadpool likes you? You're going crazy? Yeah, that's what I thought. I think I would too. Imagine Deadpool supports you. You gotta be hella chaotic when Deadpool likes you. To be fair, Deadpool's amazing. Chaotic as fuck. Does no one like Ferrari? Oh my god, I completely missed out on any Ferrari mention. Can't be that I've left out Ferrari on everyone. Someone's gotta love Ferrari.